Michelle.
Hi.
So everybody's got a mat. If you want a pillow for under your head at any time, if you know it's uncomfortable for you to lay on your back without anything under your head, make sure you have something there. And if I freeze this week, like I did last week, I will come back. Just bear with me. If anything doesn't feel great, you can always take a child's pose or go into a pose that's more comfortable for you. And if you were with me last week, my initial thoughts were less is more. And think of this as undoing the doing that we've done all week. So not worrying about going deeper into a pose unless it's comfortable, and making sure you're breathing all the time, never holding your breath.
Is that one of those blocks?
And just focusing on that part of it. So I think we have everybody. Close enough, I think. Yeah, because Natalie's got the crew there. So if I could get you guys to all mute yourselves. We're going to start on our back in Shavasana, or our corpse pose. Knees can be bent, legs can be straight, wherever you're comfortable.
My iPad's about to die, so can I go run and get a charger?
Oh, for sure. Go for it. We will be laying on our back, eyes closed, for the next few minutes.
Your FaceTime or whatever it is on your Zoom.
Okay, everybody good?
Are you able to mute us or no? Oh, there, I found it.
Got it?
I think I found it. No, it doesn't say it there. I don't usually use my phone, so that's why I'm trying.
I can mute you all, so I'll do that now.
Oh, okay.
There we go. You guys will have to unmute yourselves, okay, with the setting I have here. So if you need to pipe up, you can unmute yourself. Okay, here we go. So let's start in our Shavasana, our corpse pose. So laying on your back, resting comfortably. Again, placing something under your head if that's more comfortable. Knees can be bent or straight. You can have a pillow under the knees, a bolster if you have one. If it's comfortable, just bring your arms to your side body, palms up. Arms a little bit away from the body. Just create some space across your collarbones. Lengthen the back of your neck so your chin's level. And slide your shoulder blades away from your ears. Just start to find a little bit more heaviness in the spine, the hips, the pelvis. Let your mat support you. And let go of any tension you're holding as best you can. Notice your mind may be still running ahead, 100 miles an hour. That's okay. Just start to focus on your breathing. Use your breathing as your anchor point for when the mind starts to wander. It doesn't matter if that's twice in the next couple minutes or 25 times. It's the act of bringing your awareness back to breathing and away from those thoughts. Start to notice your inhale. Ideally in through the nose. Notice the freedom, notice the difficulty, notice where it comes from. And start to connect a bigger inhale to a bigger expansion through your belly, your rib cage, up to the chest and the back of the throat. Filling up the lungs, lowering the diaphragm, and creating space in your trunk. Just notice. As you get more comfortable with the inhale, bring more awareness to your exhale. Exhaling through the nose or through the mouth, allowing yourself to fully empty the lungs. The diaphragm rebounds higher, the rib cage connects back into the body. So both inhale and exhale, a little more active and a little more focused on being inclusive rather than just high in the chest. Ideally in through the nose, out through the nose. Out through the mouth works too. Working towards fully emptying the exhale. So there's almost a bit of effort or even abdominal work as you draw everything in to empty your exhale. If thoughts wander, bring them back to the breath. Remembering that the breath is your easiest gateway to more space, a relaxed nervous system, and more freedom of movement. Now, as you continue to focus on your breath, we'll just do a little bit of a body scan and see if we can create some more relaxation in the body. Start to notice the temples, your brow, your cheeks, your jaw, and just consciously send your breath there. Breathing in for space, breathing out for relaxation. Allow your head, your neck, your jaw, your face, everything to relax a little bit more. Breathing now into your collarbones, broadening as you inhale, softening as you exhale, and allowing your sternum, your chest wall, and your rib cage to relax. Adjust your position at any time. If you need to bend your knees, draw your shoulder blades down. Breathing a little further into the belly and softening the spine, the lower back, the pelvis. Get a little heavier in the back body and allow it to just soften into the mat. Noticing any tension spots, breathing there. Soften through the groin, the front of the pelvis, the thighs. Let your femur bones, your thigh bones, relax a little heavier into the mat. Or if knees are bent, just let the knees relax into each other. Let your shin bones, your calves, your ankles, your feet, your toes, just breathe into the space. Actively letting go of any tension there. Take the next couple breaths just to notice where your focus may want to be over the next little while in our yoga practice today. Maybe it's a tight hip, shoulder. Maybe your lower back is fatigued from some difficult workouts this week. Just kind of think about what would make this general practice more specific for you today. Now take your biggest breath in yet and your fullest exhale. And then on your next inhale, just sweep your arms up over your head, clasp your fingers and flip your palms to the back of the room. Lengthen the spine, reach out through your heels, alternatively flex and point the toes. Breathe into your side body, maybe wiggle around a little, and just create some length. Still inhaling, exhaling fully, noticing what you notice. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, let those arms come down, and we'll bend the knees. Knees and hips are bent, feet are the width of your mat, so feet are a little bit wider. Arms can come to a T if that's comfortable, palms up. Take a nice big inhale, and as you exhale, let the knees drop to the right. Just staying here for a moment. As the knees are dropped to the right, really reach the left knee away, but draw your left hip and rib cage down to the mat. So you want to feel that length and pull across the front body, a little bit more than any pinching in your back. Take a nice deep breath in here. Full exhale. And then inhale back through center, exhaling down to the other side, knees to the left. So I'm reaching the knees to the floor, and I'm reaching my right knee away and drawing my left side body down to the mat. Chest is still up to the ceiling. I've just rotated through the pelvis and the hips. Feet are soft on the mat. And just again, reaching through length of that right side body and leg. Inhale back through center. Exhale towards the right. Either staying here or tacking your right ankle on the outside of your left knee and drawing that down to the mat. A little bit of a deeper twist. You'll find your back will want to arch from the mat. Actively and gently pull the spine down towards the mat. I feel a little bit of core just supporting the position. I'm drawing the left knee down to the mat, and I get a nice lengthening through the left side body, left thigh. If that's too much, just untuck. Let's untuck the ankle. Inhale, knees back through center. Exhale, knees down to the left. Tack your left ankle on top of the right knee. And draw that right knee down towards the mat. Shoulders are away from the ears. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to soften the spine down towards the mat. We don't want to create too much length on the front body as a result of arching through the back body, at least in this pose. Let's untuck, inhale up through center, exhale knees to right, and then inhale back through center, exhale knees to left. Inhale back through center. Place the soles of the feet together into butterfly pose. Adjust your heels closer or further away from the groin, and either leave the arms here or come into the cactus position. So I'm resting the back of the hands against the floor, elbows and shoulders are bent at 90 degrees. Taking a nice full inhale into length of the inner thighs, and as we exhale, you can actively but gently pull the knees down towards the mat. Still noticing your breath. Adjusting as you need, but finding full length as best you can. Keep the back of the neck long, snuggle the shoulders away from the ears, and just gently bring the ribs back down to the mat. So you're actively supporting the spine from arching away from the mat, as well as just gently, actively pulling the knees down. One more deep breath in. Full exhale. And then inhaling, drawing knees up through center and drawing the knees in towards the chest. So give those knees a hug in towards the chest. If it's uncomfortable on the knees, you can always hug underneath. And just gently rock and roll from side to side. Give the knees a nice big squeeze into the chest. And we're going to rock our way up into a tabletop position now. So come into tabletop. So we'll find toes can be tucked or untucked, whatever's more comfortable for you. Shoulders are over wrists and fingers are spread wide. I'm going to anchor down into my index finger and my thumb and draw the shoulders away from the ear and just gently draw the chin up and into the throat. We'll inhale, move through cat-cow. So we'll inhale, lift the chest forward, lift the gaze, arch the spine by tipping the tailbone. So we don't want to dump into the lower back. And then exhale the opposite, round the spine. Let the head hang. Inhale, reverse the curve and continue to move with your breath through the spinal arch extension and through the spine rounding flexion. Spread the shoulder blades apart. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, lift the gaze. Arch the spine. Exhale, soften and round. Okay, one more time through that. And then if you're comfortable, we're going to turn our fingers to face your knees. Now, if that's not available to you, you can turn the fingers to face outwards, or you can stay in the same position we were. But if you can, turn the fingers to face the knees. Now watch that you're not hyperextended or overextended in your elbows, so you can even bend your elbows a little bit. And we're going to do the same cat and cow here. There won't be as much movement because of the tension in the front of the arms. But gently pull the shoulders down, arch the spine. Might feel a bit awkward. And then exhale, press the palms into the mat. And if you've got tension like me, it almost creates a little bit of numbness in my pinkies and my armpit, but I'm not hurting anything. I'm just working into that tension. So shoulders pull down, lift the gaze, arch the spine, and then exhale, press into your palms. So you're lengthening from shoulder blades to palms and let the head hang. Good, and then you can just sit back, come off your wrist and just circle your wrists. So if you have any tension in your armpit, around your shoulder blade, that kind of thing, flipping your palms in cat-cow is a really nice way to kind of work that movement. Okay, one more thing here. We'll come back into our tabletop. I'll turn this way so you can see me. So I'm still in that nice tabletop position. We're going to work the hip rotation. So I'm going to keep the spine long. I'm not moving through my waist or through the spine. And I'm just going to take the ankle outwards and I'm turning in at the hip, trying to isolate that. And then I'm going to bring it back in. So I'm just actively inhaling to internally rotate, turning the hip in, foot goes out, and then coming back in. And it's almost a bit of a struggle. I want to do this. I want to turn the whole body, but I'm going to work on just turning the hip. And just again, notice how difficult or easy that is for you. At the end of the movement, I tend to get a little pinch in my hip, which is okay. I'm just moving into that restriction. Controlling the movement, which is just as helpful as stretching deeply into something. So do a couple more on this one side. Make sure your tailbone's relaxed, your sits bones are relaxed. And then let's try that other side. So inhaling, taking the foot wide, just pivoting through the hips. So I'm pivoting on the knee a little. If the pressure is uncomfortable on the knee, just take more weight on the hands and the opposite knee as you turn. And again, trying to isolate so you're not turning into the hip or into the spine rather. Awesome. Okay, coming off that tabletop position, and we're going to come into our tall kneeling position. So I'm on my knees. If you need a pad or you want to roll up your mat if it's uncomfortable on your knees. Alternatively, you could certainly sit back in this position, or you could sit on your bum if you want. You can tuck or untuck the toes and just make sure you find kind of a neutral alignment of your pelvis. So you don't want to be hanging out here, but you don't want to be over tucked and hanging out here. So somewhere in between, shoulders down. We're going to inhale, take the arms all the way up, grab onto the wrist and just side bend the body. So I'm reaching and pulling the wrist to the ceiling and side bending, trying not to rotate, twist. My glutes are a little active, keeping their position, and I'm breathing into that side body and the ribs. We'll inhale back through center, let the arms come down, roll your shoulders. We'll inhale, lift the arms up again, do the other side. So I'm grabbing a hold of the wrist and almost pulling that wrist towards the ceiling as I side bend, open up the side body. There's no collapse in the hips, ideally. Active through the glutes. And finding that side bend. Inhale back through center. Let your arms relax. We're going to do that again. We're going to inhale the arms up. This time we're going to work into a tricep stretch. So you're going to grasp hold of one elbow. Reach the fingertips down the spine. Now look at how much I started to arch my back. So I'm going to press my head into the forearm. Bring my ribs back in space and try and find my best alignment while I open up the armpit and the triceps. And this is tough. This is a tough position. So I just don't want you to be here. But if it means you're a little bit here because you can't get that arm fully back, that's okay too. You're better to be there than you are to be really overextended in your rib cage. So ribs down, glutes active, fingertips reaching down your back, actively pulling and breathing into that tricep stretch. So a lot of shoulder mobility issues we'll see overhead is partly from the shoulder blade and the triceps not being able to fully lengthen when you get into that position. So this is a great stretch for you, especially if you're aware of not overextending through your back. So let's unwind, let the arms come down, roll the shoulders, reset your posture. We'll inhale, do the other side. Inhale, grab hold of the elbow, look for vertical as much as you can. I'm going to press the head back into the forearm. And again, just soften the ribs down. Squeeze the glutes a little and keep that alignment as best you can. So again, really big stretch, lats, triceps, shoulder girdle, the nerve plexus that runs under your armpit. Breathing into that. One more deep breath in. And then let that all relax down. Roll your shoulders. Okay, let's come down to your tummy. So we'll come all the way down onto your stomach on the mat. And we can just make a little pillow for your forehead. We're going to make sure you're gently pulling your pubic bone or your lower abdominals away from the mat. And just relaxing your shoulders down. Then gently, because I don't want to give yourself a hamstring cramp, you're going to pull your heel to your bum as you reach your knee away. So I'm just bending one knee. Now let it relax. I got a little bit of a cramp there. You can flex or point your toes, but I want you to bend the knee, heel to bum. Nothing else changes. Notice if you have to twist through your lower back or pelvis to make that happen, or the knee has to drift to the side. That tells me there's tension across the front of the hips and or weakness of your ability to use your hamstrings. So let that side relax. Let's do one more on each side. So bending the knee, heel to bum, length through the front body, reaching the kneecap away. So it's an active stretch of the quad, hip flexor, by working through the hamstring. Let that side relax. One more. The other compensation may be an arch of your spine. If your lower back starts to arch or you feel your belly press into the mat, counteract that by pulling your belly away. You might even feel your glutes turn on a little bit. That's okay. And then relax down. Good. Let's press the hands under the shoulders. Come on up. Let's go into a child's pose just for a couple breaths. Just in case your lower back tends to be tight in that stomach lying position. Arms can be reaching out in front, bum back. Knees can be wide, feet together. Just breathing there for a couple breaths. Notice what you notice. So if you're someone that doesn't love laying on their stomach or finds that tight, it's something you should do. The other way to bridge the gap to make it a little easier is just to put a little pillow under your tummy. So if your lower back is uncomfortable with this, you can put a pillow under your tummy. Okay, back down to your tummy once more. Hands under forehead, toes untucked. Make sure those toes are straight. You're not kind of rolled out in your legs and the heel comes inwards. Try and reach the legs long. And just take 3 big breaths into your belly. So breathing in into the mat, expand your belly into the mat. Exhale, soften fully down into the mat. 2 more times. Just really breathe into that belly. Use the mat on your belly as a bit of a feedback to know that you can create some movement with your breath. Good. One more thing on our stomach here. Let's come up onto your forearms into what we call Sphinx position or Cobra. Ideally, the elbows are under the shoulders, the forearms in front, and see if you can get the palms and the forearms straight down. Now, I already feel a little bit of tension in my lower back, so to help that, I'm going to draw the shoulders away from the ears and just reach my sternum forward. So I'm going to take up more movement in my upper back. Now, it's not super comfortable, but definitely therapeutic if you're at the screen all day. So you're open through the collarbones, lift the gaze a little, and imagine you're creating a nice curve in your middle back. Again, if it's uncomfortable, you can squeeze your glutes a little bit. That'll take some pressure off the lower back. But ideally, just try and breathe and open up through that middle upper back. Toes are reaching long. You're still searching for a bit more comfort. Legs can go wider. That helps through the hip tension in the front body. And just try and find a little more space. Good. Okay, let's relax down. Let's take one more child's pose before we move into a little bit of a flow. So again, knees can be wide. Sink your hips, your tailbone down towards your heels. Relax your forehead to the mat if you like. You can wiggle around a little bit, soft through the groin. And just kind of notice. Recenter your breath, recenter your thoughts. Lovely. Okay. So we're going to tuck our toes. We're going to come up into down dog. So let's prepare for that. Toes are tucked. Hands are reaching wide, the width of the yoga mat. I'm going to really root down through my index finger, my thumb. Take a deep breath in. And as I exhale, I'm going to reach those hips towards the ceiling and find our first down dog. So this is the time to explore a little. I keep the knees a little bent, and then I'm going to pedal my feet. I'm going to hug my elbows and biceps towards my ears. I'm going to think of reaching my chest towards the thighs. So I'm in that nice inverted triangle. I'm really pressing into the palms, the index finger and the thumb. And I'm thinking of my tailbone reaching to the ceiling. So we want lots of length in the spine. Chest comes between the shoulders. And I'm just lengthening through the back body. Drop the heel, alternatively one heel and then the other towards the mat as you pedal your feet. And then come to stillness. Now bend your knees generously, send your chest towards your thighs. Keep that from the upper body, and then see how well you can drop your heels to the mat without changing anything. And that should really light up some tension in the hamstring, the bum, and the calves if there's tension there for you. Still strong in the pose, but finding your optimum. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, let's walk your feet to meet your hands. Still nice and bent in your knees. And we'll just relax for 2-3 breaths in a forward fold. So I'm letting my spine round and curve over the hips, but I need to be nice and bent through the thighs so it's not too much for my pelvis, my hamstrings, my hips. I can hang the head, and I'm even resting the chest a little bit on the thighs here. Take a big breath into your back body. Exhale, maybe fold a little bit deeper. And then on your next inhale, roll yourself up all the way to standing. Awesome. Okay, let's do a little bit of flow here. So I'm in my Tadasana. Feet are hip width apart. Lift and spread your toes. If that's difficult for you, we should talk more. Maybe toe spreaders or kind of actively working on your toe mobility. But as soon as you lose your toe mobility, you've got nice tight feet, it makes life difficult all around. I can see my arches because I'm active through my big toe, my pinky toe, inside, outside heel. So I'm really anchored in my feet. Unlock the knees, lift the chest, neutral through the spine. We're going to inhale, take the arms all the way up overhead, palm to palm. Exhale down through heart center, forward fold. Your next inhale is your flat back stretch, so your hip hinge. Spine is long, chest is reaching forward, knees are bent to the degree you need. Fingertips either on the floor or your shins. Exhale again, forward fold, hands on the mat, step back plank. Find your strong plank position. You can always drop the knees. And as you exhale, we'll go down through Chaturanga, but again, you can drop the knees and lower yourself to the mat. Untuck the toes, hands under the shoulders. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale down to the mat. Tuck the toes, come through the knees, child's pose. Inhale, downward dog. And walk your feet up to meet your hands, forward fold. Your next inhale rolls you back up to standing. Reset. Moving on from there, inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down through heart center, forward fold. Inhale, half back stretch, knees bent. Exhale, hands to mat. Inhale, step back plank. Exhale, lower down to your belly. Inhale, untuck the toes, upward dog. Exhale, lower. Inhale, move through child's pose. Exhale, downward dog. Stay in downward dog for just a minute. We're going to move on into warrior one, warrior two. So we'll take a nice inhale and then take your right foot forward in between your hands. Tent your fingers into a long lunge. Tuck your right hip back and find some symmetry into your hips. Now we're going to seal the back foot. So I'm placing the whole foot down to the mat connected, and it's on a bit of an angle facing outwards, depending on the tightness or the mobility of your hips. Root yourself down. Inhale, warrior one. So hands can come all the way up overhead, shoulders down away from the ears. I'm strong and pressing down into my back heel and pinky side of the foot. And I'm using my breath as I exhale to sink into that right knee. Watch that you're not overarching the back, just tuck the rib cage down. Finding your fingertips reaching to the ceiling as you draw your shoulders down. Take a big inhale. And on your next exhale, hands down to mat. Step your right foot back, hips back, down dog. Recenter in down dog here. You can always also take a child's pose. Pedal your feet, or just find stillness. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, left foot forward. Left foot is between the hands. Fingertips are tented. Now, if that was a lot for you, you could always drop the knee and we could do our warrior one from there. If not, long lunge. So left hip back, level the pelvis and hips, seal the back foot. So it's on an angle that makes sense for your anatomy. Find your balance, find your posture. Inhale, arms up, warrior one. Again, you can always take your arms to your side if that's more comfortable. But I'm reaching the chest to the front of the room, relaxing the ribs down, and finding that length through the back leg. So I'm really rooting into my front foot, but also the back foot. One more deep breath in. And as you exhale, hands down to the mat, step the left foot back and find your child's pose. Just regroup and center there. Just take a couple breaths to recenter and just notice how the right side compared to the left side and what was most challenging for you. That gives us insight into where there may be some asymmetries in your body and or what type of strength work might help. So you can always reach out to me if you have any questions about that. Okay, we're going to move through that one more time, this time into warrior two. So reset yourself, come on up into down dog. Take a couple breaths there. On your next inhale, right foot between the hands, find the long lunge again. Or if you're comfortable and want to, just drop your back knee. Long lunge, left heel's lifted, big toes pressing into the floor, tenting through the fingers. Now this time I'm gonna seal the back foot, but I'm gonna try and work it towards perpendicular as best I can. So my toes are pointing left. When I do that, I have to tuck my right hip behind, so I'm not kind of hips to the side and really torqued there. Chest faces the front of the room. Now we're gonna root yourself, inhale, come up, and then the body turns to the left, and you look forward over your right fingers, warrior two. So I'm really open across the groin, the pelvis, and I'm reaching that front knee forward over the second toe. So a lot more work's going on in this front leg to keep it from collapsing in. Shoulders relaxed, and I'm open across that pelvis, really pressing into my pinky side of the foot in the back leg. Take a big breath in. Think of a long line between middle finger to middle finger. And that's your warrior two. Now we're gonna unseal the back foot. Oh, I almost fell there. Take your hands down to the mat into your long lunge. Step back into your plank. Exhale, lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, lower. Inhale through child's pose. Exhale, downward dog. So we meet back in downward dog and just settle your breath here. Let's do the other side and then we'll start to wind down. Inhale, left foot between the hands. Tuck the fingers, drop the back knee if you like. Now we're going to seal the back foot, remember perpendicular as best you can. It may not be quite that way depending on your anatomy. Pull that left hip back. Shoulders down away from the ears, root through the feet. Inhale, come up. Sweep the arms down. Gaze is over the front left finger. Pelvis is open to the right side of the room. Reaching the left knee left, so it's not collapsing in. And just watching that there's not too much arching through the spine. I don't know about you, but my body's clicking all over the place. And that's okay. You're just finding your alignment, your strength. One more nice deep breath in. Exhale into the pose. Inhale. Bring the hands back down to the mat. Unseal the back foot. Step back plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, baby cobra or upward dog. Exhale, lower. Inhale, back through child's pose. Rest here. And again, just notice. Warrior two is quite a challenging pose. There's lots going on. And it's amazing how holding a strength of a yoga posture feels like you're trying to both squat and overhead press a lot of weight. So it's a really nice thing for your body. Take a couple more deep breaths here. And then let's tuck the toes once more. One more down dog. So spread the hands, tuck the toes, take a big inhale. And as you exhale, hips to the ceiling, downward dog. We're gonna walk our feet towards our hands as you inhale. Forward fold. And on your next inhale, roll yourself all the way back up to standing. We're gonna make our way back down to our back on the mat, and we'll do that through Malasana or a deep squat. So take your feet as wide as the yoga mat. You can turn your toes out if you like. We're gonna take hands to heart center, take a nice inhale, and as you exhale, just slowly lower down into the Malasana. If you need to lift your heels and prop yourself a little, or if this is too much and you want to go straight to sitting, that's okay too. But if it's available, chest comes up a bit, move around in your hips. Again, kind of notice what you notice here. So our ability to maintain a deep squat or work towards our best deep squat is definitely a good thing. You get full compression of your hip joints, your knee joints, somewhat your ankles. That stimulates fluid, blood flow, circulation. It's a good thing. Okay, coming onto your bum. Knees are bent in front. You can scoot your bum back a little bit if you're off your mat. And let's bring your hands to the top of your shins. We'll just take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just slowly lower down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Rounding the lower back, feeling your abdominals. Seeing if you can connect every little nook and cranny of your spine until you're down on your back. Once you're there, inhale, bring the knees to the chest, and just rock and roll a little bit there. Good. And again, just notice. You could circle the knees on the ceiling if you want. You can bring them in closer, further, whatever feels comfortable. And then come to stillness. Let's place the feet on the mat, hip width apart. And snuggle your heels towards your hips. Pull your shoulder blades down along your spine. And we're going to come up into a bridge. And instead of just a glute bridge, we want to open the front body. So you'll take a big inhale. And as you exhale, squeeze the glutes and really lift the hips to the ceiling as high as you're comfortable with. And you may feel the spine arch a little. That's okay as long as it feels okay. And it's okay if you want to progress that to lift the chest a little higher and get a little bit more arch of the spine. So I see at least one of you is into a full bridge pose, which is lovely. Take a nice deep breath in here. The weight's probably more towards your shoulders than a normal bridge, and then exhale, come down. Good. Inhale, hug knees towards your chest once more. Good, and then keep your right knee, take a big inhale and extend your left leg long. If it's uncomfortable at all, you can still bend the left knee. Otherwise, flex your left foot, heel reaches away, toes towards nose. Take deep breaths in, and as you exhale, right knee closer to chest. Find the best path for your hips. You can go a little left, little right. Back off if there's any big pinching, the front of the hip. That's just tension. And then reach the hand behind the knee, so holding onto the thigh. And from here, let's inhale and straighten the knee. Heel reaches towards the ceiling, lengthen the hamstrings just as much as you're comfortable with. Pause, inhale, relax the knee, heel down to the bum. And let's do that again. Inhale, lift, lengthen. Again, if it's too much, you can bend your left knee. Relax the leg down. And we'll do that once more. So inhale, lengthen, toes to nose, heel to ceiling, hip stays anchored on the mat. And then exhale, relax. Hug your left knee in to meet your right. Good, give them a nice squeeze. Take a big inhale, keep the left knee, stretch the right leg long. So strong, active, long right leg. Inhaling to connect and exhaling to soften the left knee to chest. Explore what feels best. Gonna find the edge, but you don't have to move past it. Now place the hands behind the thigh or behind the knee and set that up to inhale and straighten the knee, heel towards the ceiling, toes to nose. And soften, let the knee bend again. Inhale, straighten. Lengthen the back of the leg. Exhale, soften. And then one more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. On your next inhale, bring your right leg up to meet the left. Give both knees a hug. Good. Now we're going to come into a twist to each side here. So very slowly, let's drop the knees towards the left. And let the body rest in a twist. So knees and hips are bent towards 90 degrees. Chest is reaching back to the ceiling. Hands can come to a T or a cactus, or you could place your left hand on top of the right knee to kind of draw it over. So just see if you can find that twist there. Lengthen through the lower back. Make sure the lower back isn't too arched. And certainly adjust as you need to. So remember again, the twist is through the shoulder girdle, your middle back, and your chest towards the ceiling, your pelvis and your hips towards the left. Take nice, full, deep breaths there. Now let's unwind that. Inhale back through center, hug knees to chest. Give them a bit of a squeeze. And then you can reset your pelvis and your hips, find your alignment, take a big breath in. And as you exhale, knees to right. Good. Stack your knees as best you can, hips and knees 90 degrees. Arms to a T, palms to the ceiling if that's available. Roll the shoulders away from the spine, lengthen the lower back, and you can always take your right hand to the top of the left knee. Breathing into any areas of tension. If there's too much pinching in the hips, just bring the legs out of that twist and that flexion a little bit more. Think about softening your left shoulder back down to your mat. And just noticing. So let's inhale back through center. And give the knees a hug. We're going to make our way back down to Shavasana again. Unless there's anything you'd like to or your body needs right now, certainly you can find another pose. If you want to put socks on or a sweater on or anything, you can. But we want to make our way back down to a very comfortable corpse pose. So if laying on your back is uncomfortable with legs straight, pillows under the knees or knees bent, you can always curl up on your side or you can curl up on your tummy. It doesn't need to be the traditional Shavasana, but we are looking for stillness of body and movement of breath as we kind of look towards sealing our practice. So for the next couple moments, the next couple minutes, work towards stillness in the body as your awareness becomes more focused on the breath. Wandering thoughts will appear. Just notice them and then again back to the breath. and just continuing with that cycle. A couple minutes a day, whether it's in a yoga practice or otherwise, of just breathing awareness or breath awareness is the most basic of meditations or a mindfulness practice. And it's a wonderful way to support your stress response in your body, your nervous system, your physical and your mental, emotional health. Lengthening your inhale, lengthening your exhale. Finding a little more heaviness with each breath. Now, just bringing a bit more movement back to your body. So start to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. You can turn your head from side to side. Just bring a little bit more movement back. And when you're comfortable, I'll have you roll to your right side and gently make your way up to sitting, but take your time. Find that cross-legged seated position. Lovely. So once we're here, just root your sits bones. Make sure they're nice and wide. Lengthen the spine, drop your shoulders away from your ears. We'll just take a deep breath up, or breath in, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, bow your head. From my light to yours, namaste. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Jen. That was awesome.
I'm glad.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Great way to end our week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That was great. Thanks, Jen. I needed the stretch.
Hey, Jen,
Everybody.
you might need to tell your husband to put WD-40 on that door.
I know, right? A little scoop. He goes, is it okay if I come down and change laundry? Who am I to stop him, right?
I thought she was talking to me for a second. I'm going, oh my God, it's not a door, it's the baby.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Happy Sunday. Bye-bye.
Sunday. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.